Ever feel like you're constantly tweaking your funnel, hoping one change will boost conversions? Many brand owners face this frustration, not knowing which tweaks will actually boost conversions. But what if I told you there was a way to cut through the guesswork? In this video, I'll be showing you exactly how to effortlessly increase your conversion rate. But before we do that, who am I and why am I qualified to tell you all this information? My name is Iradia and I'm the founder of IDMA, which is a growth consulting and management firm for e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands. At IDMA, we simply help e-commerce brand owners scale their e-commerce brands to multiple 7 figures or 8 figures a year by implementing our growth infrastructure into their businesses and managing it on their behalf. In other words, we partner with brand owners and take care of the marketing and sales department within their business to make it inevitable for them not to achieve profitable, predictable, and sustainable growth with their brands. Alright, so we've gone through the two initial phases of our IDMA growth infrastructure, the audience research and offer refinement phase and the promotion phase. Now we have two more phases to go, right? And the third phase, which we're going to be going through now, is the funnel optimization phase, right? Now, so let's get straight into it. At any given point in time, there isn't just one version of Facebook running. There are probably 10,000. That's a quote by Mark Zuckerberg. Now, Jeff Bezos said the same thing but in different words. If you double the number of experiments you do per year, you're going to double your inventiveness, right? That's Jeff Bezos' quote, basically saying the same thing in different words. Now, the point these two very successful entrepreneurs were trying to make was that you always have to keep testing and looking for ways to improve efficiency and effectiveness. I don't know about you, but when I see or hear two billionaires say the same thing in different words, I don't ask too many questions before I start taking action on it. And that's why in this third phase, we are going to talk about how to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your advertising efforts. Now, the first two phases of our growth infrastructure, offer refinement and audience research, and promotion are crucial. If they're not, they're crucial, and if they're not executed properly, nothing else matters. This is because if you're not able to find what your target market cares about, what they need or desire, and drive high quality traffic through your funnel by leveraging paid acquisition, there's no business, right? Now, once the first two phases are properly executed and dialed in, the last two phases are where the magic really happens, or in other words, where the unlimited scale comes from. It's very important for you to understand that exponential growth doesn't just come from the promotion phase alone. It comes from the additional levers we can pull on your behalf. Remember what we went through earlier. Once you reach the point of target market saturation, you start to get diminishing returns. And these diminishing returns make you less profitable as a brand owner. With that being said, you need to shift your paradigm once again and understand your website or product page is what does the selling, convincing/persuading. Know your ads, right? I know we just spent the last 20 minutes or so, probably over that, right? On how to build an effective paid acquisition machine on the second phase of our growth infrastructure. But the truth is, the role of our ads is to generate enough interest in our potential customers' mind that they feel the need to check out our store website, right? Now, the goal with this third phase is to optimize our sales process and make sure that it's able to convert a higher percentage of cold traffic we attract through our paid acquisition machine into happy paying customers. That's it, right? This process improves the efficiency and effectiveness of our marketing efforts, which is what we want, right? To do this, you may need to redesign your website and or optimize your product pages, cart pages, or even checkout pages with a simple goal in mind: making sales. You may also want to use tools to recognize and track how consumers are interacting with your website and make the necessary changes based on that. When it comes to optimizing your whole sales process or increasing your conversion rate, this is something that I can't give you a specific step-by-step process on, because every brand owner's website or product page looks different. So you might have to change or test different things about your site, and another brand owner might have to change or test other things. This is, of course, something we would take a look at and be able to do for you if you were an IDMA partner. Now, however, what I can do for you, what I can do in this video is give you some general tips that you can implement and see results straight away with. But before we do that, let me break down the importance of CRO visually and show you why it is one of the 4 verticals of our growth infrastructure, right? Why it's one of our 4, verticals, essentially one of the components in our growth infrastructure, right? Now, hopefully, just to quickly summarize that, is that our ads drive traffic to the website, but this phase that we're about to go through essentially is how you convert that traffic once it gets to your website, right? This is the crucial step, right? The job's not finished, right? Once you drive the traffic to the website, hopefully they're high quality traffic. Now you want to convert as much of that traffic as possible, right? And the way we do that is by improving our sales process, essentially, or our funnel, right? Now, here's the thing. Most brand owners think that dollars spent on ad platforms equals customers. Essentially, if you spend money on ad platforms, you get customers. This is what it actually is. When you spend money on ad platforms, you have impressions to social media users, right? So when you spend money, all you're doing is getting impressions. That's all you're doing. Just because you spend money on advertising doesn't mean that you should get customers. That's not how it works. When you spend money, you get impressions. And if your ads do a good enough job, you get traffic, right? And if your products are desired or needed by the market, then these users go to your website to find out more about your products, right? So if your ad does a good job and at generating interest, then people click your ad and they go to your website, right, to learn more about the products, right? A lot of brand owners with very little experience when it comes to paid acquisition put money into ads, start running ads by themselves, and get frustrated because they feel like just because they're spending money on ads, they should be getting customers. This couldn't be any further from reality. It's a little bit more complex than that. Now, check this out. Diagram of an e-commerce / DTC brand funnel, right? So obviously you have discovery, which is when customers discover you. Your ad does a good enough job to customers discover you. Then if your ads do a good enough job to generate desire, then they move down to your website and they go through the evaluation phase, right? And then they make a purchase, and then eventually, if you have retention strategies, then they can become loyal customers and even advocate for your brand, right? So get other people to come back and to go to your store and actually buy from you, so they can bring in new customers, right? So it's not just ads, right? You need to have a good funnel as well, right, to convert this traffic that you're generating. By thinking that just because you spend money, you should get customers, you are essentially assuming that that customers do not need to go through a sales process. To generate more revenue for your e-commerce brand without having to increase the amount of money you spend on paid acquisition, which is effectiveness, or to make the most out of every single dollar you invest in paid acquisition, which is the efficiency, you need to, number one, track every single component or metric in your funnel. From the moment a potential customer clicks your ad and lands on your product page to the point where they make a purchase. 2, optimize and improve every single component or metric in the funnel. So you need to track every single metric and try and improve every single metric, right, in your funnel, right? This converts more of the cold traffic you drive to your website into sales for your e-commerce brand. So now this is a diagram that I've essentially quickly put together, right? So essentially, hopefully you can see that. So as you can see, you have to track your ad spend, your CPM, your CTR, how many landing page visitors you have, how many people add to the cart, check out all these different steps, right? All these different components of your funnel have to be tracked and obviously optimized. You need to optimize all these different steps: landing page, add to cart, checkout, all of it, even CPM, CTR. You need to keep an eye on this. You need to track this, right? You need to be optimizing, looking for ways to improve this, right? It's very important, right? Let's zoom back out, right? Let's go back to normal standard view. One thing I want to quickly mention here is Can you see why working with a paid ads marketing agency might not be the best option to go for if you're looking for long-term and sustainable scale with your e-commerce brand? The paid ads marketing agency might be decent when it comes to generating interest in consumers and driving traffic to your website, top of funnel. That's top of funnel activity, right? If you don't have enough, if you don't have anyone trying to optimize your middle slash bottom of funnel so that you can convert as much of that traffic as possible, you will be losing sales, right? And obviously that means you'll be losing money, right? This also explains why the paid ads marketing agencies you may have worked with in the past were not able to get you results that you promised, right? That they promised you. They might have been driving high quality traffic to your website, right? If they were good enough, right? Drive high quality traffic to through your funnel that wasn't optimized to convert potential customers. Where with our IDMA growth infrastructure, you do not have that problem because we take care of the whole sales funnel as well, right? And as we previously discussed, our goal is to increase lifetime contribution margins. So you on your team is looking for ways to retain these customers by building a relationship and keeping them coming back to buy from you. So you need to have people that are also taking care of the sales funnel, the whole process, the whole sales process, right? Not just generating demand for your products, but also converting that demand, right? And traditional marketing agencies that you've been working with probably haven't been looking for ways to optimize your funnel. They've just been driving traffic to your website and expecting your website to convert, right? So someone has to be taking care of that job, right? Otherwise, you won't convert this traffic, right? If you partner with us and you become an IDMA partner, then we will take care of this. We will take care of this for you. So you wouldn't have to worry about that essentially. So yeah, moving on. With that, now with all this theory out of the way, let's talk numbers. Reach is never the same as impressions, but for the sake of this example, we are going to assume it is, right? Obviously, reach is not the same as impressions, right? But just for the sake of this example, just to make things simple, we're going to assume that it is, right? Reach is the number of unique individuals who have seen your ads at least once. In other words, it measures how many different people on your ad has reached, right? If an individual sees your ad multiple times, they are still counted as one person reached, right? Impressions is the total number of times your ad has been displayed, regardless of whether it has clicked on or even noticed, right? So in other words, reach doesn't take into account how many times the same person has seen your ad, right? It just takes into account how many people, right? How many unique users or how many unique potential customers have seen your ad. Whereas impressions counts each time that your ad was seen, right? It was viewed. It doesn't even have to be someone clicking on the ad. It's just someone, how many times have people seen this ad? And that's what impressions is, right? Now, if the same person sees your ad multiple times, each view is counted as a separate impression, right? So that's what impressions are, right? Now, let's zoom in. I'm going to give you an example of why optimizing the sales process is very important, right? Hopefully you can see my screen, right? Right. Can we fit everything? Okay, cool. So let's start from here. So the optimized funnel, when you have an optimized funnel, let's go through that example. So a top example, optimized funnel, right? Right. Cool. So let's say you're spending $1,000 in ad spend. Your CPM is 10. You have 100,000 impressions. Let's say the reach is the same, even though it's never the same. And let's assume that the click-through rate is 3. And obviously that means obviously from 100,000 people, 3,000 people go to your website, which is why you have 3,000 landing page visitors. So 3% of 100,000 is 3,000, right? Conversion rate is 4%. So out of the 3,000 people, only 4% converts, right? You have an AOV of 50 and 120 customers acquired, right? Now, obviously, if you work out what 10% of 3,000 is, that's 300, and obviously 1% of 300 will be 30. 30 times 4 is 120, and that's why you have 120 customers acquired. And as for revenue generated, you just have to times the customers acquired by the average order value, and that's how you get revenue generated. It's very simple. Now, if you spent 1,000 in ad spend and got 6,000 back, if I can scroll back, okay, cool, wow. We're gonna have to go this way. So yeah, so if you spend it, If you spend $1,000 and you get 6,000 back, that's a 6x ROAS clearly, right? And in terms of CPA, that'll be 8, because when you divide 1,000 by the number of conversions that you've generated, then obviously that gives you 8, right? So if you divide 1,000 by 120, that gives you a CPA of 8, right? Now, so hold on, let me work this out. Wait, gonna zoom in. So if you just to check this with you guys, so you guys can see this is accurate. I know it won't be exactly 8. It probably will be like 8 point something, if I'm not mistaken. 120. Yeah. So yeah. See, like, oh, wrong. Yeah. So 8.3. Yeah. So it won't be 8 exactly. So it's 8.3, right? But that's close enough, right? So that's that's a CPA of 8. That's cool. I was off by a little bit. Not optimized funnel. That's an optimized funnel. Now let's see if you had the funnel that wasn't optimized, right, or less optimized. Let's say you spend $1,000 again, and you have a CPM of 10, and you have 100,000 impressions and 100,000 reach. Let's assume that they're the same, even though it's never the same. But this time you have a CTR of 1.5 instead of 3, right? So that means you have a 1,500 landing page visitors, because obviously 1.5% of 100,000 is 1,500, right? And let's say the conversion rate this time is 3%, right? The AOV is still the same, but the conversion rate is less. That means you've acquired 45 customers, because obviously out of this 1,500, only 3% convert, right? So you have 45 customers acquired instead of the 120 that you have here, just by having a higher conversion rate and a higher click-through rate. Just by having a higher conversion rate and a higher click-through rate, you're able to convert more customers, right? And now, obviously, the revenue generated, which is what you care about, the revenue generated will be less, because your phone is less optimized. So now you have 2,250, right? Because only 45 customers paid £50, right, or $50, whatever the case may be, right? And now you have $2,250, right? And that's a 2.25x ROAS, because you spend 1,000 and you got 2,250 back, right? And your CPA obviously is higher, because your funnel is less optimized, which again means that it's costing you more to generate each sale, which means that you have less contribution and less profit. So less revenue and less profit, basically, when you don't have an optimized sales process. So this is why it's very important, because you literally losing money by not having an optimized funnel. You're still going to make money if you have decent enough ads and you have decent products, but less people are going to convert if you don't have an optimized funnel, right? And it starts from your ads, from your click-through rates and stuff like that, right? Right? So let's zoom back out and continue, right? As you can see, without an optimized funnel, your cost per acquisition is nearly 3 times higher than it would be with an optimized funnel. Optimizing your funnel is one of the best ways to lower or manage your CPA. This is what the CRO team members, got a mistake, yep. This is what the CRO team members at IDMA take care of on behalf of our partners. We track every single component / metric within your funnel and make the necessary tweaks during the funnel optimization phase of our IDMA growth infrastructure. Now, in order to create a funnel that converts cold traffic like clockwork, you have to keep testing and optimizing different aspects of your website, right? You can't rely solely on intuition or gut feelings when making changes to your sales process or funnel. It's essential to follow a data-driven approach, which brings us to the discussion of conversion design versus A/B testing. Now, in our opinion, if an e-commerce brand has less than 50,000 unique monthly website visitors, then the brand owner should be focusing on conversion design. Conversion designs are the things that I will be talking about shortly, right? If an e-commerce brand has more than 50,000 unique monthly website visitors, then we should start considering A/B testing approach, right? So 50,000 unique monthly visitors or more, you should be looking at A/B testing. If you have less than 50,000 unique website visitors, then you should be focusing on, at that point, you should be focusing on conversion design, right? At that stage, you should be focusing on conversion design, because you shouldn't be looking for small incremental improvements. You should be looking for big improvements, right? And you're gonna achieve that with conversion design, right? That's where just your time is better spent. You're gonna get more out of your time when you focus on conversion design. If you have, give or take 50,000 unique monthly users, right? Obviously, that's not a hard rule, but obviously, roughly, that's when you should be. That's a good number, right? So that's when you should be, you know, focusing on conversion design. And if you're above that, then you should be looking at A/B testing, right? So again, that's not a hard rule. You could do 60,000, like 100,000, but I think 50,000 is high enough where it's worth your time to do A/B testing, right? Now, if an e-commerce brand has more than, we said that this is because when an e-commerce brand has under 50,000 unique monthly website visits, they do not have enough traffic to quickly get statistically significant results with A/B testing, right? So obviously, if you don't have that many people going through your website, your tests are going to take significantly longer. You have less data, so you're going to have to wait longer to collect more data, right? So that's why it's not, in my opinion, you should be focusing on conversion design if you don't have that much traffic yet, like I said. In this training, I'll be focusing on conversion design because without access to both qualitative and quantitative data, it will be challenging for me to recommend specific A/B tests for your e-commerce brand's website. Without me looking at your brand and obviously seeing your website, I can't recommend tests for your website because I don't know. Because you're making this training now, I don't know what your brand's website look like. I can't recommend A/B tests for you to do, right? So we're going to be focusing on conversion design, right? So now, CRO step-by-step process, right? What we are about to go through are the essential / foundational elements that every e-commerce brand should optimize on their sales funnel, right? First thing you have to understand is that there are different sections on your website, right? There's the website homepage, product page / landing page, right? Because it might not be a product page, it might be a landing page that you design, and you might have a VSL on there if you were, don't want to get into too much detail, but sometimes some e-commerce brands have like longer VSLs to sell a product, right? 40 minutes VSLs, I've seen it before, 40 minutes VSLs, 30-minute VSLs, and they have a landing page dedicated for that with full of information, right? So it might not be like a 20-second direct response ad. It might still be a direct response ad, but just on a landing page, right? Essentially, and it's longer, right? But anyways, I digress. So yeah, product page / landing page, cart page, and a checkout page, right? The goal of every user journey is to convert them onto the next stage of the journey. That's it. What do you mean by that, Iradia? Iradia, explain further, right? The goal of the website homepage is to get the potential customer to the product page. So the goal of this page is to get them here. The goal of the product page is to get a potential customer to the cart page. So from this, the goal is to get them here. And the cart page, the goal of the cart page is to get a potential customer from the cart page to the checkout page, right? So from here to here to here, right? That's the goal of each page, right? And obviously the checkout page is to essentially convert the customer, right? Now, let's get through it. So now we're going to go through each one of these pages and give you things that you should have in place to make sure that your funnel converts as much traffic as possible, right? As I said, I can't give you A/B test, A/B test that you can test on your website because I can't see your website right now. I'm making this training. I can't see your website. So, but yeah, if you book a free consultation call with IDMA, we'll actually go through this and we'll actually help you, right? But if you're watching this, like I said, this training, I won't be able to go through your website because I can't see your website, right? But I can give you some advice in each page, what you should have in each page to make sure that you convert as much traffic as possible, right? This is something that every brand owner should have on their page, right? So yeah, right? So let's go through it. So the website homepage. A user that lands on this page is probably coming from your organic social media accounts or maybe through SEO, right? Test your website on multiple devices. As an e-commerce brand, most of your traffic comes from a smartphone, right? From smartphone users. So as an e-commerce brand, most of your traffic comes from smartphone users. So we want to make sure that your website is optimized for smartphone users, right? Load times needs to be less than 5 seconds. Use this site. So obviously, if you have access to this doc, if you want access to this doc, DM us on Instagram the word resource, and we'll send it over to you, right? And then you can just click the link and actually check this page out to test your website speed, right? The more products you have on your site, the slower your load speed will be. In addition to that, some e-commerce brand owners have a lot of apps connected to their Shopify stores, which can have an effect on the loading speeds too, right? So we always advise to decrease the number of apps for better performance. Now, aside from that, another thing that you should have on your homepage is a free shipping indicator at the top of the site. So, for example, free delivery, or even like app exclusive free next day delivery, right? So the point is, you make it very, if you have free delivery, right? That is, if you have free delivery across every single SKU in your for your brand, then you should make it very clear that, yo, by the way, we have free delivery. So that it's an incentive. Most consumers want free shipping, right? Nobody wants to pay for shipping, right? But yeah. Anyways, so free delivery, make it very clear. Let's move on. I'm gonna go through this quite fast, right? Because I see these are just little changes, and again, you should implement this stuff, right? So I'm gonna breeze through them. I don't want to take too much time on this, right? A trust badge or a trust seal is a digital icon. So trust badges, right? So you have trust badges on your website as well, on the homepage, right, at the bottom, right? A trust badge or trust seal is a digital icon business owners display on the website to signal reduced purchasing risk and ideally motivate purchasing behavior, right? Displaying a trust badge can reassure customers you have a secure and low-risk online shopping experience. Security trust badges, payment badges, endorsement badges, and policy-specific badges are all popular types, right? Research shows that almost 70% of shopping carts are abandoned, and that 70% of shopping cart abandonments are due to concerns about online security. Based on these numbers, eliminating security concerns could lead to more sales, right? So you need trust badges. If you wonder what that looks like, this is what it looks like, right? So all this, like, let me zoom in a little bit quickly. So all this Visa, MasterCard, etc., 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 PayPal, Apple Pay, Klarna, all these kind of things build trust, right? It makes the customer feel safe, right, when making a purchase with you, right? Moving on, social links for trust building. So that's at the bottom, right? Make it easy for them to find those links so that they can quickly and have a look and then come back to your site and complete the purchase, right? So they might say, well, I want to see what they're about. I want to see the social media. I want to see if they're legit. I want to see if they're real. I want to see if they're actually authentic. Let me see the social media, right? So everybody does that, by the way. Like if you see an ad, you might go to the website, but then you might want to also see their social media account to see if they're actually real, right? So now, human connection, even more trust, optional, right? This is optional. You don't have to. Showcase the founder story. You could put an image of you if you're the founder. And share the story of how and why you decided to build your e-commerce brand. So this could be on the homepage if you choose to do so, right? You don't have to, but it's nice, right? Real customer reviews, right? And it will get you more sales because obviously people connect with people, right? Real customer reviews, again, people connect more with people. Real customer reviews, right? So obviously you have, this is quite self-explanatory. So customer reviews and the rating, right? Trustpilot, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Exit intent for lead capture. We'll talk about this in more detail in the fourth phase of our IDMA growth infrastructure. But essentially, we need to be prepared for the worst case scenario. If a potential customer is trying to leave our site, we need to get their contact information so that we can market to them through retention, offering a discount / incentive, right? You need to use what is in it for them copy and CTAs. Comes back to being customer centric. For example, so I'll give you an example. When we want to get a potential customer's email, where should we send your discount code instead of what is your email address? So always think about what's in it for them and use that, right, to get their email, right? Don't just say what's your email address. Actually make it like something that they will actually want to, that will make them want to actually give you their emails so that if they leave, you can retarget them, right? So I'll give you an example. So for example, if you try to leave this website, for example, I think this the sell beds, right? The sell beds, and if you try to leave the website, you get this pop-up, right? Even before trying to leave the website, you get this pop-up, right? Within a few seconds. It depends on however you want to do it. Depends on you, and we'll talk about that in the next phase, right? But you need to have a pop-up where it says like sign up now to receive an exclusive additional 5% discount on your next purchase, right? So what's in it for the copy? Instead of saying what's your email, say that, lead with that, and actually get them to actually fill out the email, right? Which is here, your email address, right? Right. Let's zoom out. Let's move on. Let's move fast. Let's move fast. CTA. So see, you want to have a CTA call to action on the website, telling people what to do and to move to try and, like I said, the objective of the website is the homepage is to move them to the next phase, which is their product page or line. Well, in this case, product page, right? So you wanna move them over, right? So that's that, right? Shop now, shop women, shop men. That's that, right? You also want to have a site-wide attention-grabbing homepage promo. In my opinion, the best converting offers in e-com are the ones that are site-wide, like this one, right? So ASOS here is doing like a site-wide discount. So they're doing get 10% off almost everything. So they're not doing everything, but they're doing 10% off almost everything with code this, right? They want to be running this discount now, but when I created this training, they were running this discount. So, right. So the point is, have a site-wide attention-grabbing homepage promo. Now, again, this is all gonna depend on your unit economics, right? If your unit economics won't allow you to do this, then don't do it. It's not. But again, this is not something that you have to do. You should do it, right? If you can, but it should always be depending on your unit economics if you can do it, right? Because every offer you make has to be economically viable, right? Because anybody can create any offers, but are you actually making money from it, right? The objective is to make money, right? If you are not able to do this kind of offers because of your unit economics, then you could maybe offer a product for free if they spend over a certain amount. So if they spend over a certain amount, obviously that's a smart way to do it. So if you can do the whole site-wide discount, then what you should do is do like do an offer where if they spend over a certain amount, then you get a gift. Because by doing it this way, you can factor in the cost of the gift, the quote-unquote gifted product. You can factor in the cost of making that product into the total cost of delivery. So when they spend more than $100, you still have margin, right? Because the gifted product essentially becomes like a customer. It becomes like a part of your CPA essentially, or part of your total cost of delivery for the main product or for the products that they've purchased. If they spend over, for example, like this, they're doing over Plant Made, right, which is a hair care brand, right? Right. Actually, they do more than hair care, to be fair. Anyways, point is, they're saying if you spend more than £80, you get a free product, get free roots, right? So you get free hair products if you spend over £80, right? So they're factoring in the cost of these roots of making these products into the total cost of delivery of everything you may purchase, right? So they're still profitable, right? So even if they're doing they're giving away a product, they're still profitable because they're factoring the cost of making that product into the cost of all the products you've purchased from them. As long as it's above £80, that's when it makes sense for them, right? So that's why they've done £80. If it made sense for them to do a 60, they might do a 60, or they might even do a 50, right? Or maybe they just want to make more and they just do 80. The point is, this is the best. If you can do this, do this, right? If you can do 10% site-wide, then do this, right? This is the second best way, if not probably the best way to be. I'd rather do this than do 10% discount, to be fair. But yeah, anyways, let's zoom out. But again, before you launch any type of offers, you need to simulate them. Like I said, you need to make sure that they're economically viable. You already know this anyways, because we already went through this on the first phase of our IDMA growth infrastructure. Now, the website category pages should be for different product categories. It should not be used for privacy policy, return policy, and terms and conditions, right? This can be in the footer of your site. So when it comes to like terms and conditions, privacy policy, this should be at the bottom of your site. It shouldn't be at the top of your site. It shouldn't be in the product categories, right? It should be at the bottom in the footer, right? So that's just something I wanted to add in there, right? It makes finding products a lot easier. If you wonder why I had to mention that, it just makes finding products easier, right? You don't want to have categories where it says policy, privacy, and all that. Like you don't want to have all of that in the product category pages, right? Something that's worth adding as well, if you don't already have this, popular searches on auto suggest. So you want to have what a lot of people are searching for come up as a suggested search, because chances are, if a lot of people are searching for this, the people that land on your site are going to be searching for this kind of terms or for this kind of products as well. So you want to have something that makes it easier for them to get to the product page fast, because again, the goal of this website homepage is to get them to the product page. So if you can make that process as seamless as possible, you convert more people, right? Now, this gives people an idea of what they can buy from your store. The more optimized the popular search on auto suggest is, the higher conversion rate will be, right? The default Shopify search functionality isn't the best, and that's why at IDMA we can custom build this out for you or for our partners, right? Or another alternative could be using a plugin tool that improves the default Shopify popular search on auto suggest feature. For example, this website. Again, if you guys want access to this document, DM us the word resource on Instagram and we'll send it over to you. I've said that 20 times in this training, but so you guys, because I know you guys are gonna ask for this, so I'm just gonna give it away, right? So DM us on Instagram, I'll just send it over to you, right? Local currencies. The potential customer does not need to spend any time converting pounds into dollars or dollars into pounds if they are in the USA, right? So it's good to have this. Again, obviously, if I'm in Spain, for example, I don't want to have to convert my euros to pounds, right? And vice versa. If I'm in the UK, I don't want to have to convert my pounds to euros, right? So the website should have local currencies, right? So if your website detects that a user is in Spain, then it should automatically show prices in euros, all right, and no pounds. As if they're in the US, it should be showing US dollars, right? So that's that. Quite simple, self-explanatory. Let's go here. Let's move on. Now, product page. So we've done the home page. Now let's go to the product page. Now, a user that lands on this page first is probably coming from an ad that you are currently running. This is probably the most important type of page in your e-commerce website, because it's the one that people will land on if they're coming from your paid ads. Buy now button with one click. Again, Amazon does this extremely well, right? Right. On the Amazon website, you can literally buy with one click, right? You don't have to add to basket and then go to checkout. You can just literally press buy now, and within one click, your checkout process is maybe like another click, and that's it. Like, it's very fast, it's very seamless, right? So, but the buy now button makes it very easy, right? You don't have to add to basket and then go to the basket and actually purchase, and you can just make it very quickly. So that's something that you should be, if you're not currently doing that, you should be doing that, right? This is extremely useful because it removes the friction of generating a new sale, right? Now, in most cases, the potential customers that land on your site for the first time, cold traffic, aren't probably going to use this button. However, if they're coming back a second or third time after they have previously made a purchase from you, then they are probably going to trust your brand and therefore buy straight away, right? This is a good experiment for you to try out if your repeat order rate is above 25%. Obviously, like, because most new customers won't use it, right? Or most potential customers won't use it. Only your returning customers are going to use it. So only actually run this test if you have a above 25% return rate. So people come in, no return rate, above 25% return purchase rate, basically. So, or if people come back to buy from you, you should be testing that, right? Now, next, your product page should not have any outbound links, right? What I mean by this is that you should not have links to articles, blogs, or external sources of information on your product page. If you have links to other sources of information, you will be driving some of your traffic somewhere else, which means less people will take the action you want them to take. Which means less people will take the action you want them to take, which is to buy, right? So you shouldn't have any outbound links. Next, you should have frequently asked questions on the product page because, of course, people have questions and they want them answered. They have objections and they want those addressed before they actually make a purchase. They want to be sure that they're making the right purchase, right? So, if you know the most common, questions or the most common objections that people have or misconceptions or some things that your customers ask themselves before buying this kind of product, you should put it on this product page so they can see the answers and make a more informed purchase, right? So let's move on. Next thing is live chat slash customer support option, right? This is to answer some of the questions or handle objections that might not have been addressed in the FAQ section, right? So obviously you can have someone customer service handling the questions live, right? And if you can't do that, there are some AI tools you can leverage if you're not in a position to hire a customer support team member for this role. Now granted, AI isn't perfect. It's not at the point where it's ready to go like a human being would, but you can answer basic questions with the AI, right? But yeah, that's that. But like I said, this helps as well. It's better than an FAQ section, to be fair, right? But if you don't have the budget to have someone at customer service, then you can do it yourself, or you can, like I said, just have the FAQ section, right? But yeah, product title, user friendly, because this is something that people debate a lot. User friendly or search friendly. It's important to find the balance between the two. From an SEO, search engine optimization acquisition perspective, your product title should be a search friendly title because it will drive more traffic to your product page from organic Google searches. However, from a CRO conversion rate optimization perspective, your product title should be a user friendly title. So that's my stand on that. If you're running paid ads and you're not really doing Google ads right now, you're not focusing, that's not your main source of acquisition, then you should focus on you should have a CRO perspective. So you should have a user-friendly product title. If you're doing SEO and SEO is your main traffic source, right, then you should focus on having a search-friendly title. That's my standpoint on that. There's no wrong way. Both work. So yeah, that's that. Right. So as I was saying, the main product picture has to be congruent with your winning ad creative, right? This makes potential customers feel like they're in the right place, right? If they see an ad creative and they see the way your website looks, the way the product image looks, and is aligned or congruent with what they saw in the ad, they're gonna be more likely to convert because they're gonna feel like, okay, cool, this is exactly what I saw on the ad. Again, it eliminates friction from the process, and that's what you want. Another thing is pricing, right? Strike through. If you're discounting, right? This is not a hard rule, right? But if you're discounting, you might as well put the retail price, right, to anchor them to that price, and also show the discounted price in a different color, right? Strike the opera for anchoring the user to a higher price point. It's always good to show the new price in a different color. Yeah, I just said that. New real reviews. You've already again, we've said this before, like in the website homepage as well. You can have customer reviews. You can also have reviews on the product page as well, right? So text reviews with names of customers. Like, again, the more personal it feels, the more people are gonna trust it, right? If you have names next to these reviews, then people will think that it's from an actual person that actually bought this product, right? So other people have bought it and they're giving honest reviews, right? Obviously, you should actually have honest reviews. You should actually have reviews, like real reviews, right? You shouldn't be making these reviews up, right? That's that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's moving on. Okay, cool. With every purchase / our promise to you. So again, this is not compulsory, but if it applies to you, you could do something like this. You do not have to offer something for free. The goal here is to increase perceived value for the user has of your products, right? So with this company, for example, they're selling mattresses. So they're saying our promise to you is all Emma mattresses have 200 nights trial, right? So you can buy a mattress and you have 200 nights to try. If you don't like it, return it, right? And free delivery and returns, right? So you can, the delivery is free, and also, you can also return it for free. So if you don't like it, you don't lose any money, essentially, right? 10-year guarantee if anything happens to the mattress. So this is what they get. This is what customers get from every purchase they make, right? So that's what, again, if you apply to your brand, you can implement this as well. It can increase conversions. Anything that removes friction, you should add. Basically, anything that removes friction from the sales process, you should add, right? So that's that. Next, cart page. So we go from the website homepage to the product page and now the cart page. So when they add the product to the cart, what they see on the cart page, right? So cool. The metric to track here is the cart to checkout rate. So how many people from the cart go to the checkout page, right? That's the number one metric in this phase. Number one, urgency trigger by time or quantity. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see. So ASOS is doing this extremely well. To be honest with you, I think it's fake, but I mean, whether it's fake or not, they're using urgency, right? So I think it's fake in my opinion because, yeah. But they said items are reserved for 60 minutes, right? So maybe it's real. The point is, this actually incentivizes the customer to actually proceed with the purchase now, not later. Because some people might add a product to the cart and then say, "Oh, I'll just buy it later." By putting this here, you're incentivizing them to, or you're pushing them to, essentially make the purchase right away, not later. Because they might forget later, something might come up later, and they never make the purchase, right? This is common sense, right? So yeah, that's that. Moving on. Highlight free shipping if the order is eligible, and show returns and refund info. So obviously, if the order is eligible, you can have free standard delivery. So just make sure you put that there so people know it's a free shipping, it's free delivery, right? So again, this makes them want to buy more because customers don't want to pay for shipping, right? When I click the more info page, it took me to this page, right? So it also gives me delivery and returns information, right? So I have everything I need, how to return it, when to return it, etc., 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 right? So again, this allows the customer to make a more informed buying decision, right? And this is what you want. Now, so that's the add to cart page. There's not really much to it. It's just eliminate as many steps as possible. Now, the checkout page, enable guest checkout, right? So people shouldn't have to create an account to make a purchase, right? I know why you would want to do that, right? But people shouldn't have to create an account to make a purchase because that just adds friction to the sales process, right? Now, remember, our number one metric here is sales, right? It's cash in the bank account. So we have to eliminate as much friction as possible, right? So don't make people have to create an account to get sales, right? So that's that. Trust icons, once again, to show payment is secure. People want to make sure that when they pay, the payment actually goes through and it's not being, essentially their security or the safety is not being, it's not in question, basically. They want to feel like, yeah, I'm going to make a payment and it's going straight to the brand. And yeah, I'm not losing my money, basically. That's that. And no reference, once again, no reference or outbound links in the checkout page. You don't want people leaving your product page, your checkout page when they're about to buy your product, right? You want them to focus on one thing, buy, right? Once again, you don't want to take potential customers out of your checkout process. Yeah, include an option to use the same address or billing address, right? So it can just automatically, fill out the information and you don't have to fill out another separate, page. It just, again, eliminates friction, right? Remove as many optional fields as possible. Some CRO experts will tell you to clearly highlight the mandatory fields from the optional fields. In my opinion, you should remove all the optional fields. Like, just remove them. If they're not necessary, remove them. Again, the goal here is to get sales, and you have to eliminate as much friction as possible. That's it. Simple. Next, offer a buy now, pay later option, especially if you're one of these different markets. So USA, Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia. Customers from these places usually are accustomed to buy now, pay later, right? A lot of customers, consumers in these 5 different locations that's a usual way for them to shop, right? So yeah, offer that if you can. Offer that if you can, right? And then offer multiple payment gateways, right? So not just like PayPal, but offer like Apple Pay and etc. 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 ClearPay, Klarna. Use like as many of them as you can, basically, as many ways to process payments as possible. Use that, right? Because people prefer different ways, and they're gonna use their way that they're more used to doing it, right? So they're gonna use their, for example, if someone uses PayPal when they buy online, they're gonna want to use PayPal when they buy from you, right? So you should have PayPal available, or someone might like Stripe better, or whatever the case may be. I'm not affiliated with any payment processor. Just use whichever one, or use all of them as much as possible. Use as many of them as possible, and that's it. Give people more options, right? So they can use the one that they prefer, right? So the thank you page post checkout. This is a great opportunity to offer an upsell. So when they make a purchase and thank you page, you could also have another page that essentially tries to get them to buy again, because people are more likely to buy from you once they just made a purchase, right? So they can just buy the next one straight away, and you get to realize that lifetime contribution margin that we talked about previously, right? The shorter we make the APC, which is the average purchase cycle, the shorter we make it, the faster we realize profit, right? So if we can upsell them straight away, we should take it, and people are more likely to buy after a purchase is made, right? So you should take advantage of that, right? Now, just to finish this off, I'm gonna give you some general tips, right? Just to finish it off. It's important that you are driving a lot of traffic to your website, right? To do this, right? This is because funnel optimization is a game of iteration or testing, and like every test, you want to have statistical significance. So this is if you're doing A/B testing, right? What we went through today is conversion design. These are things that you can do that will have a big difference, in your e-commerce store, and the amount of sales that you get, right? Of course, if you have more traffic coming through your funnel, as I said, more than 50,000 unique website visitors, then you should start paying attention to you should start doing A/B tests, essentially, to look for ways to incrementally improve the performance of your website, of your funnel, essentially, right? But that's that. So you should be driving a lot of traffic if that's you, right? Number two, start optimizing the pages on your site that receive the most traffic and work your way down to the pages that receive the least amount of traffic. Obviously, this is quite self-explanatory. The pages that have the most traffic are the ones that people are spending the most time on, all right? So you should optimize those to get people to convert, right? To get more people to convert, because obviously more people are going to those sites, right? You should work your way down that way, right? So number three, optimize page load speeds. Ensure that your website loads quickly on both desktop and mobile devices, as slow loading times can lead to high bounce rates and lost sales. Like we said earlier, page speed is very important. People don't want to wait there loading. Like, get them on your site as fast as possible. 4, simplify the checkout process. Make it easy as possible for customers to complete their purchase by minimizing the number of steps required to check out, and offer multiple payment options. We just went through this, right? It's very important. Eliminate as much friction as possible. 5, leverage social proof. Incorporate customer reviews, testimonials, and user-generated content into your website to build trust and credibility with your potential customers, right? Social proof can reassure visitors that they're making the right decision by purchasing from you. 6, add a banner to the top of your site at all times. It could be promoting a free shipping or a special offer. Number 7, implement automatic geolocation detection for language and currency to your site. If your brand is based in the UK and someone from Spain, me, for example, goes on your site, you need everything on your site to be translated into Spanish, and you need prices for your products to be displayed in euros instead of pounds, right? Of course, this only applies if you sell and ship outside the UK or whatever country your brand is based in. So if you're in the US, this applies to you if you're shipping to a different country outside the US, right? To a country, right? To another country that's not the US, right? Average conversion rate for e-commerce websites is about 2.8 on cold traffic. As a brand owner, it's normal to be between 1 to 2 on cold traffic. And your goal should be to make your conversion rate as high as possible and no less than 3% on cold traffic. Add to cart ratio should be above 10% on cold traffic. Now, even better than conversion rate, you should be optimizing for revenue per visitor, because that's really what you want. You want to know You want to maximize the amount of money you make per visitor. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for free specific help with your digital marketing efforts, feel free to book a free consultation call with us. To do that, all you need to do is click the first link in the description of this video, choose a date, and fill in a short questionnaire about your business. An IDMA growth consultant will get a call with you to give you advice and actionable steps to solve any specific digital marketing problem you're currently facing with your e-commerce brand. Now, full disclosure, at the end of the consultation call, if our growth consultants determine that your brand meets our required standards, then we might consider a partnership with you. At IDMA, we do not consider a partnership with every brand owner. In fact, we only partner with brand owners that are in a position to rapidly scale their brands with the help of our growth team. With that being said, book a consultation with us to get free specific help with your digital marketing efforts. Thank you for watching this video. Take care.